Hello, it's Phillip Taylor speaking from Richmond Green Chambers in London. This morning I'm looking at a book which we've had for a little while now. We went to the book launch. It's called A Practical Guide to Drone Law. It's been written by three people: Rufus, Ballaster, Andrew Firman and Eleanor Clot. And it comes to us from Law Brief Publishing. And they had a presentation of this work a little while ago, and it intrigued me, I have to say, because I didn't know very much about drone law. And so we went along and we saw one of the drones actually being used as a demonstration, and it made me realise A, how old I am, and B, that the law is changing and we need a book like this. It's a slim volume at the moment. And as Elizabeth said, she wrote the actual review to begin with, although we had a long discussion about it. If it's just for fun, can it be illegal? And that's really the question, because a lot of issues are thrown up by the drone. Let's look at the book first of all. Here it is, Practical Guide to Drone Law. It's got a lot of applications, of course. You can see there's the spine. It's a small paperback. There we go. See, there's not much on the back. There are previous other titles which they produce. There is, right at the back, there's no actual index as such. Right at the back they have a list of the most recent books published by Law Brief Publishing, and the book runs to 130 odd pages, so it's not a big book at this stage. There's the biographical information about the authors, and then after that we get to the first page. Then actually that's the detail page there. Then there's some blurb about the availability of the book. It's a paperback, and then there's a short preface from October last year. I'm reviewing this in the summer of 2018. Acknowledgements, and then the contents section. You see the various chapter headings all the way through. And it's really looking at a whole range of different areas of substantive law, if I can put it that way. 19 chapters in total. And then you've got chapter 1. You can see there's no paragraph numbering. There's a little bit of footnoting you can see on the sides for additional references. But as I say, this is a new book in a new area, and I would be expecting more work in this particular area of drone law to appear in the future. But we've got this book at the moment. Drones are obviously very popular. They have a lot of applications that I can think of, very practical ones, apart from the fact that this is a toy to many people, especially children. Now, as I say, if it's just for fun, can it be illegal? That's the question. Of course, that gives a wonderful suggestion of a whole range of things that can be great fun, but actually are illegal. So where are we today with it? There are a lot of people out there who regard a drone as a fun purchase, a toy, if you like, of sorts. Well, it is, more often than not, except when you consider the increasing popularity and the proliferation of drones and the potential dangers of these things flying around and hitting you on the head. Or worse, quote, there ought to be a law, you might say, and there is, thoroughly, clearly and entertainingly explained in this compact legal text from Law Brief Publishing. And I'd like to thank Rufus, Andrew and Eleanor very much for the work they've done. Charming people, and they explained at the presentation of the book exactly why they decided to spend what was a lot of time actually producing it. Because any book takes a lot of time, believe me. Here then is an area of law which is very new, relatively speaking, but which links to other areas of law which are very old, from property, trespass and negligence, to contract, nuisance and much, much more, including insurance and intellectual property issues. And it's explained quite succinctly in this book, considering this potentially a far-ranging and complicated subject. And having succeeded in producing this, the first authoritative text, legal text on drones, as far as we know it, the three authors, Rufus, Ballaster, Andrew Firman and Eleanor Clot, who's a drone regulation expert, have aimed with the book to give it to lawyers who are interested in work for the drone industry, for England and Wales. So it may look initially as being quite a narrow book in terms of the lawyer being the main reader, but I think it's got a much wider readership than that. And obviously it's a book where certainly lawyers require, because they work in this particular area, to know what the relevant law is, because frankly I think it is going to start changing and expanding as we use more of these pieces of kit. We know of no such book they had, so we wrote it, and that's the purpose behind the book. And thank you, of course, to Law Brief Publishing for taking it on. It's also been the aim of the three authors, fortunately, to make the book, in their words, accessible to lawyers and normal human beings alike. Interesting. Including those who contemplate using drones for recreational, professional, or indeed military use. Normal human beings, even lawyers, will certainly appreciate the extensive coverage of the topic that this book provides, complete with real-life examples and straightforward information and advice pertaining to the applicable law, which, of course, as the authors admit, will inevitably be subject to rapid change. And as I speak, there are changes, because you can see a whole range of uses that a drone can be put to, where in dangerous situations where it would, life could be at risk if a human goes into a particular area, so you can use a drone. The relevant legal topics are covered in the first 10 chapters. That's really the substantive law areas, followed by a discussion of the current and potentially future uses of drones, including an overview of unpiloted flight. Drones can be used everywhere, from routine delivery to emergency services, to media and the arts, to applications which are both dangerous and illegal. And you can see the criminal fraternity can clearly see great benefits from this device, and that's a problem which, of course, Parliament will eventually deal with. Is there any use for which you cannot develop a drone? Good question. Consider this sobering thought in contemplation of the content of this book, which serves as a very useful indicator of the ways in which the law will or should be applied when cases involving drones eventually turn up in court. Of course, that's really the basis of the book. And remember that the publication of this slim volume is cited towards the end of 2017. And in view of the fast-moving realities, we look forward to the imminent publication of a second and much larger edition relatively soon, I'd have thought. In the meantime, we have this, and it's really quite interesting. When I looked at it from afar, I thought it was an insect, but it isn't. It's a drone. There we go. The back, you can see there's nothing on the spine, but the back has got a lot of detail. Just opening it in the middle, we're looking here about insurance. Again, an important area. What happens when you are using this and what rules come in. So there is, in fact, at the moment, because it's a lawyer's book, there's a lot of law in it. But I do feel, this is the hobbyist insurance area that's covered there, I do feel, it's looking at commercial insurance, short-term insurance and so on, I do feel that this book is something that every person who owns a drone should have a copy of, because it actually sets out what you can and can't do within where we are at the moment in the law itself. So thank you to Rufus, Andrew and Eleanor, charming people that put a lot of work into this, and I'm indebted to them and their firm for the actual production of the book, because these things do take a lot of time to actually produce. They all come from the firm of Carter, Lemon, Cameron's LLP, up in by the Barbican. So thank you to all concerned, and also Law Brief Publishing for taking this book on. Very grateful to all of you. Thank you. Bye-bye.